We are happy to be joined by Thoughts by Tony Katz in person. You're not a CNN hologram. No. You're actually here.
Oh no, I'm not like Tupac at whatever concert it may be. I'm in the flesh, baby.
All right. Policy or publicity stunt?
Doesn't matter. It honestly doesn't matter.
Well, if you're paying $5 for avocados, it does.
If you're not willing to sacrifice for your border, exactly what are you willing to sacrifice for, I think is a legitimate question that Abbott is now asking the President of the United States. It was Jen Psaki who said it was a publicity stunt when he was going to send people to D.C. He can't get those people on buses. He got people on buses. It's stunning how that works. I don't want to spend $5 for avocados. I'm a huge fan. Guacamole is my friend. However, if it means that we're going to start actually paying attention to the border and the job Congress is not doing, then I'm all in favor of it.
Okay, we look at the live pictures. We see 18-wheelers backed up for miles. Okay, no one thinks that this is actually that inspecting every truck is going to change meaningfully the number of illegal immigrants coming across the United States. It's a publicity stunt. Now, we can argue that it's worth it to draw attention, but how much of our produce runs out and how much do we start paying simply for President Abbott's Iowa caucus campaign ads?
What are we paying for the shelves already being empty, for the increases in the price of meat, in the price of milk, in the price of bread? Eggs are going up as we come into Easter and Passover, and bakeries are the ones who are going to suffer. What are we paying for those policies?
What do you make of Republicans who are so worried that President Biden is ready to drive off the cliff on the border issue, and Abbott is giving the media and everybody else a different target and a different place to place blame?
I agree with you that I don't think this is the best policy. I agree with you that you're not going to be catching a lot of people coming across the border in these trucks. I think that's 100% accurate. But if we are forced into positions to shine a light on an issue that Congress could solve and refuses to solve year in and year out, and let's just be clear, a bipartisan level of refusal, let's start putting some real pressure on. Let's show Joe Biden exactly what a level of seriousness could look like. Now, President Biden, in his great mind, has a better idea. Let's hear it. But he hasn't put it out yet, and neither is Jen Psaki.
Coming NewsNation polling, would you, as an American, support a grand immigration compromise, path to citizenship for illegal immigrants here in return for an impenetrable southern border?
No, because I don't play in that world of make-believe, nor do I believe that we should be engaged in a conversation of anybody here illegally gets citizenship. Who are the people, I think, is an important question. Our need for immigration, we're the only nation in the world that can actually make more Americans by saying, come on in. That's glorious. We beat China that way. We beat Russia that way. It's extremely important. We got to keep that going. We just have to be smart.
Yeah. Speaking of sort of the way the world is looked at by Americans, that begins in education, K through 12 education. Hillsdale College, small, very private, they take no federal money, 1,500 students in southern Michigan. They are now popping up charter schools, 21 now around the country, with what they call their 1776 curriculum, which teaches that America is phenomenal in response to the 1619 project that argues America is institutionally racist. Is this the free market finally coming to education in America?
I would argue that the 1776 conversation is about the actual history of America, and the 1619 project is a fraud. That would be how I would categorize it. But I think that's
shocked.
I think that's the right way to put it. It is the free market doing exactly what it should do. People looked at the marketplace, and schools are a marketplace. Right. Remember, we weren't people who had this kind of public education until I think it was Horace Mann in Massachusetts, the Secretary of Education there, in the 1830s, said this is the way it should be. And we haven't made our kids better since. We were better in very many ways in a one-room schoolhouse. I support the idea of public education. I don't support the idea of public indoctrination. And if parents and the markets can take a hold of this thing and better educate kids, aren't we all better off? Google proves that when you're allowed to get a certificate that'll let you program as opposed to going to a four-year university.
Yeah, Hillsdale, we missed one thing on the graphic, founded by abolitionists. It has a very interesting way of looking at the world. How worried should the teachers' unions be about this very, 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 very small inroad?
I don't think it's a very, 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 very small In Rhode
Only
Island.
21 schools.
But that's Hillsdale and what they've done, and they've also worked with other charter schools. You take a look at the people over at edchoice.org, Robert Enlow's organization, and the work they do in trying to help people engage charter schools. You take a look at the amount of black men and women who want to move their kids into charter schools because it's better educational choice. This has a lot of growth potential.
Yeah, school choice worked, and obviously it worked actually exceptionally well for Glenn Youngkin, even among, you point out, African Americans in Virginia. Tony Katz, back here tonight, and then on the morning show tomorrow in real life. Thanks for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.